All right, so today's movie review is Steamboat Bill Jr. from 1928, starring the good old Buster Keaton and directed by Joseph M. Schenck, one of those. Um, he worked a lot with a lot of Buster Keaton's films during this era. And this is one of the more popular ones. You may not have seen this film, but you definitely know a cartoon that has been inspired by it, which is, of course, Steamboat Willie, which is the short that Mickey Mouse wasn't his first short, but it's the one that made him a household name for sure. But, anyways, Steamboat Bill Jr., let's get into my thoughts on the plot. So, the plot, I gave it a 4 out of 5. I thought it was a good one. I love the dynamic between the father and son as pictured here. They're nothing alike, but it's just really funny, especially the scene where the dad keeps putting on different hats onto Buster Keaton. I think those are some of the funniest moments in the film. I will say, though, story-wise, the third act isn't very good. It kind of gets lost when Senior's in jail. It's just more of a spectacle, seeing all of the cool effects and whatnot. The most famous one I'll talk about cinematography-wise, you'll definitely recognize. It's probably one of, if not his most famous stunt. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the plot. Let's move on to acting. Okay, so the acting, gave it a 4 out of 5. I think Keaton is for sure the best. He's always really funny. This is the hat scene I was talking about where he tries on different ones, and he has this beret here. He always ends up with a beret. And there's a funny little gag, kind of an inside gag. He actually gets his classic pork pie hat, the really flat one, and his dad is horrified by it and throws it out the window. It's a really funny scene. Just a little nod to that. But yeah, I think Keaton was the best actor-wise. The girlfriend actress was just okay, not great. And that guy in the far left there, he's really funny. He's not really in the film, though. But the dad and the son, that's the best dynamic and the best reason to watch the movie, acting-wise. It's really, really funny. All right, let's move on to directing. So I was wrong. Joseph Schenck, he actually did the production. I forgot. Charles Reisner, pictured on the right there, he's the director. He also starred in many Chaplin films. So it's funny seeing him here directing a Buster Keaton film. I thought he did fine, 4 out of 5. I just wish the plot was good. It was good. I just wish it was as good as like The General. The General was action-packed, crazy, a little bit of heart to it. This movie, you're really just watching it for the stunts and the steamboats, which are cool, but there's not really a great story here. Just funny little gags and funny little dynamic between father and son. So, yeah, that's why I gave it a 4 out of 5. Director was fine, but I could have used more of a better story. All right, let's move on to cinematography and special effects. So this is the scene I'm talking about here. That's the most famous one where the window falls on top of Buster Keaton. He's looking around and whatnot. That's the most famous scene in the film. It's been parodied several times. One example I could think of is in Arrested Development. One of the model homes falls on, or no, is it the one they're building? Actually, I think it's the one they're building falls on Job like this. Yeah, it was a crazy stunt. Apparently, if he was just a couple inches to the right, it would have killed him. Like, that's real. That's a real building coming down on him. That just shows the dedication and commitment that Buster Keaton had. And it's the reason why he's one of my favorites just ever when it comes to acting and whatnot and directing and the silent era in general. So, yeah, 5 out of 5. Great visual effects. There's funny gags on the steamboats where he's trying to reach another one and falls off and whatnot. It's really funny. This is the most famous one, though. And there's like a giant fan that they use to make it super windy. It's pretty crazy. And he like leans over and it's pushing him. It's really funny. That's the highlight of the film for sure. All right. In regards to the music, 5 out of 5. I thought it was great. The version I saw did have the original score, so I knew for sure it was. It's fantastic. Really sets the tone. It's very funny. I love the little sound effects they have with it too. It's great. 5 out of 5. Really, really good music. All right. So overall, my scores are 4.4 out of 5, which I'm rounding to a 4 out of 5, and that makes it an 88% on Criticlist. So in regards to graphic language, there isn't any. It is a silent film, but there isn't any in the title cards either. Violence, there's some fighting and punching, no different than like a Looney Tunes cartoon. Nudity, sexual content, none. I don't even think he kisses his girl at the end. I don't think there's anything like that. Political bias, none at all. Family friendly, this is very family friendly. I think kids would love it and laugh at it, have a good time with it. Especially this and I think the general for sure. Entertainment, it's very entertaining. Again, I love the comedy. I love the physical and his very, stoic face. I love it. So would I recommend this movie? Yes. This is a funny movie, great movie. I think Buster Keaton does great here. The wall falling on him will live on forever. I think that will be parodied ad nauseum. I don't know if this is the best one to start with. I would say the general is, because that's just his best one, in my opinion. But this is definitely a funny movie. You'll have a great time with it, regardless. And, but yeah, those are my thoughts on Steamboat Bill Jr. from 1928. And that concludes today's movie review.